Hey, it's Danielle here in Seattle, and I want to make a video real quick because I keep getting a lot of you guys asking me, how do you know where to set your stop loss, or how do you know where to set your take profit when you're using the Agimat scalping indicator? So I want to make a quick video to show you how I go about setting my take profits and stop loss. So I have quite a few different things that I use to help me identify those levels. So right now on the screen I have EN. This is actually a pair that I am watching. It's on the 1 hour, and for those the Agimat, yours is going to look a little bit different than this. It's not going to have this little indicator at the bottom, which is Maxwell's equation, which kind of predicts the future price action. So if you just purchase the indicator, the Agimat, you will not have this one down here at the bottom, and you cannot add it. You have to actually have both the harmonic scanner system, the FSO harmonic scanner, and the Agimat, and then I believe that you can add this to your Agimat if they're both on the same account. Hopefully that makes sense. I may confuse you guys. If I did, I apologize. But so that's the only difference. So don't worry if you're looking at this and saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't have that at the bottom of my indicator. You're not going to have that at the bottom. I actually added it because even though this little red line is a good future price prediction tool, also, as you can see down here, Maxwell's equation just gives you a clearer picture of what price is actually doing. So again, don't worry if you don't have that, but if you do want it, you have to purchase the FSO harmonic scanner. All right, so anyway, getting back to the purpose of this video, I just want to go through real quick the steps that I use to help me identify areas where profits and where to set my stop loss. All right, now if I'm scalping on the smaller time frames, I usually don't set a stop loss or a take profit. It just depends. If it's like the 5 minutes, I will actually, may try to get 10 to 20 pips. And I may watch the trade, or I may just set it, 10 or 20 pips from my entry price. So that's only on the lower time frames. And especially if you're using this on the 1 minute, you have to be your own take profit and stop loss. So you actually have to sit there and kind of watch the trades play out. So I have EN here, and I'm just I got 3 windows open because I want to just show you the different tools that I use to help me identify those areas, the take profits and stop loss. So earlier today, this is the FSO harmonic scanner. This pattern was found on the 1 hour, and as you can see, it's already 2 candles in. I didn't enter yet. I am still waiting, and I will tell you why I'm waiting here in a minute. So first, when this popped up, when this, what is it, a bearish crab, and I like the crab patterns because they're 90% accurate, so I try to trade those a lot. I usually trade them when they pop up, but as you can see, there's different, ciphers, the Gartley, the bats, different patterns, but the crab is going to be the most accurate. And so earlier today, this entry point was actually, I think, somewhere like around here. And as you can see, it overextended. And this is why I do not like to enter, first thing when this pops up and says, okay, this pattern was found. I actually wait, 1 to 3 candles, 1 or 2 or 3 candles before I decide to enter, because I want to make sure that it's done overextending or if it's still going to be a valid pattern. So this is what caught my attention on EN, right? So let's see here. And the reason why I didn't enter this one, I know we're talking about the Agimat, but I'm just giving you an example of how I use this tool to help me identify those take profits and stop loss areas too. So let's say this is I'm interested in trading. And the beautiful thing about the harmonic scanner is it gives you everything you need. Look at that, the entry point, your stop loss, TP1 and TP2. Now TP2 is way down there somewhere, but TP1, you know, so it's almost 200 pips right there. All right. So sometimes I will use these levels here and I will use them on the Agimat. Let's see, you know, so if I was to enter this trade, you know, I would use these right here. I would use it as my stop loss. I would use TP1. Not sure if I would go for TP2 because that would be quite, this is like what, 1 hour? So it'll definitely be a swing trade. I would probably just go for TP1 and see how it plays out. You know, I can always change that later and decide to target TP2. So this is one of the tools that I use to help identify those levels where I should put my stop loss and my first take profit, my second take profit. The reason why I haven't entered this just yet is because if you come down here and look at the future price, excuse me, my voice is always cracking. If you come down here and look at the future price, we're at the current price where this line is at right here. So as you can see, it's going to make another push up before it actually starts to drop. And once it starts to drop, there shouldn't be any drawdown on that one. So I want to wait maybe a couple more hours. So maybe the Asian session or Sydney session. But this is the point where I would be looking to enter this trade because it's just going to drop from that point on. So that's why, even though there's, you know, 1 or 2, like I said, I like to wait 2, 3, you know, 1 to 2, 3, maybe 4 candles before entering. Let's see here. Sorry about that. So we'll just leave that right there. Okay, so that's one of the tools I use to help me identify my stop loss and take profit areas. And let's just jump back over to here. All right, and so we've already got this signal here, so we know that the reversal signal is there. So we know that a reverse is coming. So this is heading down, right? And do not be afraid to mark up. I don't know if you guys do the technical analysis on the charts, but they do help sometimes, especially trend lines and things like that. Like I said before, you know, you can even, if you're into harmonics, sorry, my if you're into harmonics, you can even just mark that up on here as well by grabbing these little shapes. It's not going to be the exact points, but you can get an idea of, you know, what the market is doing. All right, so sometimes I will look for these patterns. And once they're found, like I said, this signal, reversal signal, was down here. So it repainted because this pattern extended. So now it's up here. And another good reason why it's always good to use a trend line, it helps prevent those fake moves. So like if this signal was down here, you know, one was probably like, oh, okay, it's going down. I'm going to enter for the sell. I'm going to go short. But then look, if you had your trend line drawn there, it respected this trend line, bounced off, and continued up. So that's something to keep in mind. The trend lines are your friend. The trend is your friend. The trend lines are your friend. They will definitely help you avoid some of those fake moves. So, and then here too, I like to use Fibonacci extensions. So we'll just put that up there. Let me change the color because that's kind of hard to see. So we'll just make it, sorry, my computer's been really slow. Okay, so we'll make it bright yellow so that you can see these points. And so sometimes I'll throw some fibs on there, Fibonacci extensions, and that will give you an idea of the levels where this market can extend to. And if you notice, remember these black lines that are on the Agimat, those are the market makers zones, trap zones. And you can see how they kind of play off the Fibonacci levels too. And this may not be the exact points or so, but they come pretty close, right? And let's see here. So I know a lot of people use these levels as take profit levels or zones or whatever you want to call them. So let's see if this signal was ready, which is not ready yet, because you got the future price still going up. And remember I said it was going to, let's see actually what it's doing here. Yeah, so it's going to push up before it drops. So it may go up and do like a little double top before it drops. All right, didn't mean to delete the fibs, so we'll just throw those back on there real quick. Okay, and as I was saying, you can use these levels as your take profit. I know it's very common to use the 38.2 as TP1. Some people use the 50 as TP2, and some people use the 61.8 as TP2. Or you can go TP1, TP2, TP3. It just depends on how aggressive you are as a trader. So that's another way that I decide where I want to take profits. And if you're not familiar with the Fibonacci, you can just, let's take that off. If you're not familiar with Fibonacci extensions and retracements, you can use these zones as your take profit areas also. And just remember that the more solid lines are going to be your stronger zones. So where it acts as, support here, it broke it, then it acted as resistance, broke that, acted as support again. So this is going to be your stronger point. So if you were entering this trade, let's see, you enter where price is at now, and it just depends. Remember, also this is on the 1 hour, so you may only want, if you're only looking for 30 pips, I know that sounds crazy, but that's 20 pips right there, that first line. I mean, if you want to take it all the way down to this zone, that's 118 pips. So it's totally up to you and how aggressive you are as a trader. A lot of people just say, hey, I want to, they call it pip and dip. I want to pip and dip. I want 10 pips and I'm out. That's fine. Or I want 20 pips and I'm done. So again, that's another call that you would have to make. But I just also want to remind you that, I think that this system works well with the proper education of the market and other confluences. So I like to have 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 confluences before entering a trade. And let's see here. This is my main template. This is also a template that I use. This was the first template that I started trading with, and I like it a lot. I still use it. I don't know if you're familiar with Jim Brown. He's a well-known trader. If you purchase one of his books, I forget the title of it, but he gives you a free download of this template right here that has a really cool MACD platinum down here. And these little red dots signals a sell. This one, the blue ones, of course, signals a buy. So I like to use this, and I would mark it up the same way. Throw some fibs on there. See where it can extend to. This is also another indicator that I added to this, where you can see these little zones. So these are points where, you know, price can extend to. Just know that that zone's there, so it may hit that zone, pull back before continuing, or it may just rip right through that little zone because it says weak support right there. So this is another, just another template that I use to help me with entry points. And the way that it helps me with the entry points is like, let's see here. So let's just say that was the trend line. I don't know if I would start there. I'd probably start it from here. Same thing, but just looks a little better. So for entry, I know on the Agimat, you know, you're waiting for that white confirmation arrow. And it's kind of the same thing with this template. Like this little red dot is here, but there's going to be a little red dot that pops up here too. So usually once that red dot, you can see right here, there's a red dot, it pushed down. So usually when I get that little dot, that's another confirmation that it's a good time to enter. But as far as the stop loss, we haven't touched that yet. So after I draw the fibs, the market hasn't been, you know, past this point. Let's see what, yeah, like 20 to 30, 35 pips maybe from the current price. So I would, you know, that would be a good spot to set a stop loss. It's actually like, yeah, 32 pips. So anywhere from 20 to 35 pips, just depending on the pair and again the time frame that you're on and how many pips you're looking to catch. Again, this is 1 hour, so it's going to be a little longer trade unless you're just scalping off the 1 hour. You're just getting a few pips and then you're done. But down here you can see the resistance, I'm sorry, not the resistance, the moving averages, which can also act as support and resistance. Sometimes you can use those as take profit points. So I think the orange is the 50. Yeah. So maybe you want to take it down to 50, which is actually at the 38.2, which is what can be a good level for TP1. So see how that lines up with the Fibonacci. It's really cool. I like Fibonacci a lot, and I like harmonics, which is why I love the FSO harmonic system. And before I check any of these templates, before I check this harmonic scanner, before I check this, and before I check the Agimat indicator, I already have my chart marked up over here on Trader's View. So yeah, I don't know how advanced you guys are with marking up charts and doing technical analysis and things like that, but it's something that I do before I figure out which pairs that I'm interested in or are on my watch list, and then I mark those up usually on Sunday right after the market opens, or Monday. Some charts I will mark up on Monday. I know with the AJTFX Learning, we have Monday night markups, so those are always helpful. And then for my other trading community that I trade with, we do a lot of charting on Sundays. So this is the first step. And as you can see on TradingView, which is a free platform, I just like to identify, the zones and the support and resistance levels. Like the green would be like the daily, the orange would be like the 4-hour. And then I just recently, I found out a new way to start charting. It's probably going to look weird when I jump all the way over here. Yeah, but go up to start at the monthly, which is the blue lines. You can kind of see everything right here. The blue lines, and then the weekly would be the dark red, and the lighter red would be the daily, the orange, the 4-hour, and the green, the 1-hour. So this is how I determine, those levels where I think price may hit, where I can take profit or at least secure the bag before continuing. Let me jump back over to the 1-hour. Let's open that back up. Yeah, so this was marked up. And again, I thought that, once it completed the C to the D leg, I thought for sure, this baby was going to start pushing down. But drew the trend line there. Didn't jump in because I didn't get faked out, because if it would have broke the trend line and then came back, retested the trend line, then I would have considered entering this trade. But I think it's eventually going to drop. It's so overbought, so it should be heading down here sometime soon, hopefully, and hopefully I will be around to catch that ride. But yeah, that's pretty much my process of what I do. First I mark up my charts here in TradingView, and then let's see, we're just going to extend that right there just a little bit. So it's consolidating right now. And after I do my charting on TradingView, this is just a summary. So do your charts, mark up your charts on TradingView after you find, which pairs you're interested in for the week. And then you already know how to use the Agimat. I don't recommend entering on this yellow and black signal. It's a very strong signal, but it does repaint sometimes. And if you're the aggressive trader, that's totally up to you if you want to decide to go ahead and enter when the signal pops up. But this little confirmation arrow, that's what I call it, the little white arrow, is confirmation for entry. So that has not popped up yet. I am waiting for that. And the thing I like about the Agimat, it does give you the alerts. So when that little white arrow pops up, you can know it's time to go. It's go time. But I wanted to show you a setting real quick. So there's a setting that says wait for close. Right now it's set to true. So this white arrow right here is going to wait until that candle closes before popping up. Now, if there's a lot of price action, or if you want to be a little more aggressive, you can change that to false, and then I'm yet to change it, so I don't know it, but I think it will appear before the candle actually closes. So that's something to keep in mind too. And that's pretty much it. So I mark up my charts on TradingView, then I come over here to the MT4 platform. I have a couple of different templates that I like to use, and this is probably the best of them all, is the harmonic scanner, because it gives you the entry, the stop, the take profit 1 and the take profit 2. So if you guys want to get your hands on this scanner, you want to grab a copy, the link will be below this video, and you can also learn more about it and how it works and all that good stuff by clicking on the link below the video. So again, it just depends on, you know, how long you want to be in a trade. If you kind of want to do short-term trading, scalping, mid-term trading, it's up to you. But definitely I would recommend using Fibonacci. Just, you know, using those as, you know, the 38.2 as TP1, maybe the 50 as TP2, or the 61.8 as TP2, or it could be TP3. Depends on how many positions you have open in the one trade. So again, just kind of reviewing, and if I think I forgot to mention the stop loss on this Agimat here. You know, it's kind of the same thing. You would place it like once this trade, I don't even use a stop loss until after I entered the trade. If I'm sitting here watching the charts, but of course if I can't watch the chart, then I'll set a stop loss. But if I'm sitting here and then, you know, let's say the white arrow popped up like here, if I entered this trade, because you want to keep you want to give the market room to breathe and move and do what it does, but you don't want to have these outrageous stop loss, pip stop loss, you know. So again, remember this black solid line is very strong. It's the strongest zone on the system. So if this popped up and then I got this white arrow, and let's say I entered this trade, I would look to place my stop loss maybe 10 to 15 pips behind this level. 20 max, but yeah, 10 to 15 pips behind that level. Because once you get the confirmation that it's pushing down, you know, it shouldn't come back up or anything like that. So you should be good to go. You can do a real tight stop loss, which is another good thing about this system. And that's why I like to look for signals around these areas, because it plays off them pretty well. So hopefully that was helpful. I hope I didn't confuse anyone, but hopefully you were able to take some good points away from that, and hopefully you have a better idea of how to go about setting your stop loss and your take profit areas. And if you still have questions, feel free to give me a call. I always want to say give me a call, but no, I'm sorry. You guys don't have my number. Well, maybe some of you do. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you. And then if you want to hop on a screen share and share your screen and show me some things and ask questions about, you know, some areas that you have questions about, I have no problem doing that. So hopefully, again, hope this helps. If you still have questions, go ahead, connect with me on Facebook, and yeah, let's do a screen share and get things figured out. All right. And if you want this Agimat indicator, the link will also be below the video, as well as the link to the harmonic scanner. People keep asking me, which one do you like better? Which one do you like better? I like them both. I use them differently. I like to use the harmonic scanner for, you know, intraday trading and swing trades. I like to use the Agimat for scalping and intraday trading. and also swing trades. So they're both great systems. It just depends on what your preference. I like the harmonic scanner a little bit better just because it gives you the entry point, the stop loss, and the take profit areas. So that's something to keep in mind with the Agimat. You do have to kind of figure that stuff out on your own, whereas with the harmonic scanner, and I'll just flip back over here, you know, that information is given to you. So all right, I will not keep you guys any longer. If you have any questions, hit me up and I will see you in the next video. Happy trading.